Welcome to the Mouse Bros podcast. Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm his brother Randy. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at the Mouse Bros. We'll be releasing new episodes every Friday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest podcast. If you have any suggestions for upcoming shows or just want to say hi, you can email us at mousecabrospodcast@gmail.com.
If you're planning your next Disney destination or Universal Orlando vacation, you're going to want to reach out to me, Ryan Noppinger, with Capture the Magic Vacations. You can reach me at ryan.noppinger@ctmvagent.com. This is a no-cost-to-you service to use me as your travel agent. I'll make sure you get the best vacation package or deal for your whole family. I can also help make dining reservations and plan fast passes to make planning your Disney vacation less stressful and more magical.
Get out your boarding passes because on today's episode we have the final part of our Tour Around the World series, where we are journeying through the countries at Epcot's World Showcase. On this trip, we'll stop in France, the International Gateway, UK, and Canada. We'll touch on layout, present conditions, and our thoughts. But before we begin, Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Allergies are...
Under the weather.
Yeah, allergies are kicking up this time of year, so that's not fun.
No, it's bad. There's days that I can't or don't want to go outside because I know it's going to end badly later.
Yeah, that's how today is. Ryan, you have a trip upcoming, don't you?
I most certainly do. And then when this episode comes out, we are actually leaving the next morning.
Oh, wow. So
yeah,
it's
at bright and early at 5 a.m. Not normally the earliest we leave, but we're leaving at 5 mainly because we are taking the camper down. So usually, again, when we go down, we don't usually stop halfway, especially on the way down.
Right. So we leave at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, or 3 or, because we don't sleep anyway. So leave as early as we want. But on this trip, we're stopping halfway because we have a camper. So we're going to be driving a little bit slower than normal. At least I most certainly will. Some people call me Nancy. I've accepted it. But we're going to get there in one piece, okay?
Get there.
We're going to get there in one piece, no matter what they say. So if you want to check it out, I'll be posting some things on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to follow, when I get back, we'll most likely have my wife on as well, Amanda, because of course she's going on the trip as well. And we'll talk about it kind of like we did for the cruise as well. And then
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Stick around for that.
Let's dig right into the countries.
Jump right on into it. Finish this trip.
So on the last episode, we ended in Morocco. So on this episode, we are starting in France. So when you get to France, kind of the thing that sticks out, well, other than the Eiffel Tower, is kind of the whole center of the pavilion. And they have this center fountain that's a great place to sit, relax, and people watch. That's probably the best thing to do at Disney World.
Absolutely. 100%.
So the streets are lined with cobblestone, and as you explore the pavilion, you'll hear romantic tunes being played. And then speaking of romance, there's no greater love than Beauty and the Beast. So you'll often find Belle and her fur-covered man meeting and greeting guests in the garden area. This pavilion can be a little bit deceptive at first. Kind of tucked away behind Monsieur Paul restaurant is an alley where a pastry shop can be found that is absolutely hands down to die for. You must go. Fantastic pastries. Kind of that hidden gem in the pavilion that if you don't go and look for it or ask around, you might not find it or might skip right on over it. There are also several carts scattered around. You can find souvenirs, get made to order crepes, or visit the wine kiosk. And then the thing that absolutely mainly sticks out, the first thing your eyes go to, adding authenticity, is the Eiffel Tower. This much photographed landmark is 1/10 the size of the actual tower and was built following the blueprints of Gustave Eiffel. So that's really cool that especially they wanted to keep the whole Paris type of feel to it, that they added this. And actually they put like bird, like, I don't want to say like repellent, but like the little like needles so that the birds don't land on it on the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
Because if they do, it would actually throw off the whole illusion that it looks farther away and bigger than it is, because the birds would land on it and you're like, oh wait, oh, that's the size of it. Like you're looking at this maybe little bird and it would just throw off the whole picture. So that's kind of an interesting kind of hidden fact to it. To talk about attractions, and I kind of just grouped in entertainment as well in it. The first and kind of the major one so far as of right now is Impressions de France, and this is a film shown throughout the day. And the best thing about it is this movie is that you actually get to sit down. It's a nice break from the Circle Vision movies in China and Canada, where you have to stand, or if you sit, you most likely will get yelled at. But this is an 18-minute trip through France, giving guests a glimpse into the beauty of both the French countryside and the densely populated cities. Coming soon, actually, on top of Impressions de France, is a Beauty and the Beast sing-along. And this is coming soon at the 2018 Destination D event. Disney's CEO, Bob Chapek. And Destination D, before I get into it, is kind of this like event where they release and announce maybe new information, or give an update to an attraction that they're already currently building. But anyway, they announced at the 2018 Destination D event that this would be joining kind of the lineup in addition to Impressions de France. And that's basically all we know. There's no date as of yet on when it's coming yet. So the next kind of attraction that isn't there yet, but coming soon, hopefully is right around the corner, is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This attraction will be themed after the much-loved 2007 Disney Pixar film Ratatouille, and is very similar to the one at Walt Disney World Studios in Paris, France. I'm very, very excited for this attraction. I can't wait. I've seen videos of the one in Paris, and it's awesome. I mean, it's a trackless ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for something new in this pavilion. Since we're kind of talking about it, I'll just kind of throw my 2 cents in already. And that Impressions de France, I think we both agree that we would be okay if that kind of left the park. It was like almost that they didn't know what they wanted to do with this pavilion. And they wanted to have some sort of attraction, and they were kind of running out of money, or like France didn't want to provide the money, and they were just like, well, let's just put a movie in because it's easy, simple, and can be done and changed easily. So it's just not a really well done movie, not a memorable movie.
Yeah, and I wonder if after the Beauty and the Beast thing comes out, and the more popularity for just the Beauty and the Beast, and then you see everybody exit before Impressions de France plays, if that's how they have it go, or maybe it'll just be on its own time, like Impressions de France at 1:00, and then Beauty and the Beast sing along at like 1:30. Or
that's what I think. I think it like flip flops.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think through that they'll be able to tell really quick if Impressions of France goes down and the Beauty and the Beast goes up. I'd be interested.
I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be one of the cast members standing at the front, because everyone's always going to come up and want to wait in line for Beauty and the Beast, but be like, no, sorry, this line's for Impressions of France.
Oh nope, I'm leaving.
Yeah, right. Like this, the Beauty and the Beast line will start soon. It's just going to be. It's going to be a lot, I think.
I wonder if it's kind of a tie to if Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opens kind of before Beauty and the Beast, or they come out close to the same time. Does it kind of get people into the Beauty and the Beast to not wait in line for Ratatouille? Maybe not so much to take some of the impact of it.
No, not really, because people are still going to wait in line.
Yeah,
either way.
Regardless.
It's a new ride.
Yeah. So, kind of moving away from attractions, but still keeping it in the same kind of entertainment feel. Throughout the day, server amusant are acrobats that perform. Well, it's an acrobat and then he has like a helper.
Like a boss.
Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
chef.
Yeah, the chef. But it's a fun show where two talented performers build a tower out of chairs and basically bounce on the top of it. And it's got some kind of funny, comedy relief in it too. Of course, they don't really talk. They just like the chef guy just blows the whistle.
Yeah,
and that's it. Really,
that's where like the humor comes in at.
Yeah. Didn't Katie? Yeah, Katie did this, right?
Katie got selected because in the beginning of the show, they you got to take a glass on a tray and like do some crazy thing with your arm.
You like turn your body all while keeping the tray level. Like you have to go underneath the tray.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm doing it with my hands, like you can see me, but you can't see me. But just envision me.
You got to twist the tray under your arm and
right. Yeah. Which seems like impossible.
And then the joke is that he grabs the glass because the cup is actually hooked onto the tray.
Yeah, permanently.
Right.
Yeah, so there's no way.
But I will say that Katie did a great job, and she didn't even spill a cup because it's a full glass of like wine or something.
Yeah.
There's a full, and she didn't spill a single drop. So bravo.
Well, when you think of France, you most likely think of two things, wine and perfume, and you won't be disappointed as both are well represented in the shops. At Shop Plume et Palette offers perfumes and colognes from top brands such as Chanel. Shop Guerlain not only features fragrances, but also has their full line of cosmetics. At La Maison d'Auvergne...
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do it straight, okay? I got it. So here you can sample wines for a fee, not free, for a fee, and purchase bottles of wine along with a variety of wine accessories. Also here you can get chocolates, cookies, kitchen linens, soaps, and cookware are other offered items in the store as well. There's also Souvenirs de France.
I feel like it's like souvenirs. Souvenirs de France.
I know. It's Souvenirs de France is how I'm going to say it.
That's not how you say it.
Here it carries the typical type of French souvenir, like a miniature Eiffel Tower, a T-shirt, and Paris purses is what they tell me.
Wow, descriptive.
It is very, very
descriptive.
I imagine this is just anything they couldn't fit that doesn't have wine in it or perfumes.
They're just like, it can go here, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a generic souvenirs, type of thing will be in that shop. If you don't like wine or perfume, go there. To move on to dining, they do have a couple of listings for dining. So the first one, Les Chefs de France, one of Epcot's overlooked gems, in my opinion. Many of the tables overlook the streets of France and give you a bird's eye view of the comings and goings while you enjoy your delicious meal. The tables are covered in crisp white linens, the interior is light and airy, and the service is always top-notch. And I say that is because actually on one of our trip, or was it not our last trip, but a trip in July, we ate here kind of I think we've eaten here in the past, but this is the most recent time that I remember at least eating here.
I don't think I've ever eaten there.
And everything was actually really, really good. So I strongly suggest Le Chef de France.
Yeah.
If you're looking kind of for someplace new to eat, or you walk by it and don't really know what it is, a very good restaurant, especially if you're on the dining plan. You can get, very good steak, and of course now it includes an alcoholic beverage, so absolutely get an expensive glass of wine, because why not? Treat yourself.
Treat yourself, girl.
So there's also... just had to do it.
Sorry.
So there's also Monsieur Paul, an upscale signature dining restaurant that is only open for dinner. If elegance is something you're seeking, this gourmet spot is definitely one to consider.
You didn't write that. Disney wrote that.
Maybe.
You didn't write that.
Maybe.
You didn't write that at
Maybe.
all.
But mainly
somebody else wrote that.
Because I have not eaten here, but it's fine. At bear with me here. Les Halles Boulangrie Pastries. It's basically...
That's wrong.
I know.
That's wrong.
It's the pastry shop, okay, is what I'm trying to say and get across. And it's that hidden gem that's kind of on kind of the side street when you walk into the pavilion. But here you'll find croissants, eclairs, souffles, tarts, cheese platters, and sandwiches accompanied by French roast coffee, because why not? Also in France, Les Artisans de Glace is an artisan ice cream and sorbet shop. Here they have 16 different flavors and are made actually on the premise, all with fresh ingredients, which is 10 ice creams and 6 sorbets. And then adults may also add liqueur to their ice cream because you're in Epcot. So why not?
That's right. Drink around the world.
So coming soon, added to this list, is an authentic French creperie, and it will kind of be included in the addition of the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure attraction. Again, I don't have a date on that yet, but it is coming soon, and it will come, I guess. Most likely it will open when the attraction opens and everything else for that place. And that pretty much wraps up the France Pavilion. Definitely one of my favorites. One of my, definitely stop by and go to and go to the pastry shop in the back.
Yeah, I really like this pavilion. It's very pretty. My only issue with it is that it seems very clustered, that on the side of the lagoon there really isn't anything to do. I know that's where, you can probably meet Belle, and like kind of right next to it you can meet Aurora. And then it's just like everything seems very crammed into like the center of the pavilion.
Yeah, hopefully with this kind of new addition for the attraction, because actually you'll kind of walk more towards the side of the water to go around kind of the back side of it. So hopefully it will give kind of expand the pavilion a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what the future holds.
Yeah, especially. Well, what's our next stop?
Our next stop is International Gateway. So this one isn't a pavilion, but we're still going to kind of talk about it. I'm going to give like an overview of what it is and then talk about a little bit of the history of it. So it is in fact a park entrance. You can enter the park and leave the park from this place. When you leave the park, you can access the yacht club, the beach club, the boardwalk, the Swan, and the Dolphin. So a lot of very well-known hotels, big hotels, and each hotels have a lot of dining. So it just gets you more access to dining and the shopping for each hotel.
Yeah, especially for the boardwalk. Even though it may seem like a long walk, but once you start walking it, and you see the boardwalk in the distance, you're like, oh, it's not that far. So it's definitely doable, most certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Right outside the gateway, there are friendship boats that you can access to take to the various hotels and also Hollywood studios. So that's a really cool kind of perk for it. There's always short lines. There's not really any line most of the time. Maybe in the morning it might be a little bit busy, but a lot of times it's short. Now, of course, that's going to change when the gondola system opens, because that's where the gondola system kind of lets out for Epcot, is the International Gateway. So it might get a little bit more busy.
Yeah, that'll be really, really interesting, especially I think with the whole gondola and them building this, I think they're redoing kind of that entrance for the ticketing to add more machines or more touch points for you to enter the park, which will definitely be needed if this brings the foot traffic, which I think it will.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a shop at the International Gateway, and it is the World Traveler, which has a bunch of basic World Showcase merchandise. Kind of like at the Showcase Plaza in the beginning, very generic stuff. So that's a bit of overview for the International Gateway. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about history, just because it's kind of interesting. So when Epcot was first being designed, it was actually being designed in two different parks. You had Future World, and then you had the countries. And Disney didn't think that there would have been enough kind of attraction almost to the countryside, so they kind of just put it all together into one big park. And the entrance actually was designed between Test Track and Mexico. That was going to be the park entrance. So if you went right, you would have went to Future World, and if you went left, you would have went to the countries, just to kind of put it in perspective. Well, due to time and money, they kind of just hurried up the process with it and just put the park in the front near the Epcot ball, even though that's not really where the entrance for this park should be. That's what they decided to do anyways. So International Gateway, they didn't have a country to go there, so it was really just a flat piece of land with one bridge. When the Swan and Dolphin were being built, they decided to create a special entrance into Epcot to give it this feel that you're kind of staying at like a luxury hotel, at a hotel that's not Pop Century or something like that. They wanted to create a special feeling.
Yeah, and actually the Swan and Dolphin aren't owned by Disney, so
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point.
It was kind of an added benefit, and then the stuff to come, like the boardwalk and the yacht club, just gave more access to, we can kind of access Epcot, kind of on the back side of the park and still get in and still enjoy it. So, we haven't stayed at any of the resorts that we've been able to do this, but
we've gone to the restaurants before at the boardwalk. I think we went to
we've been to the Yachtsman.
Yeah, the Yachtsman.
At the yacht club. Yeah. We go there, at least the last 2 trips when we did a big family trip. And that is a very, very, very good place, especially to eat steaks.
Yeah,
if you're thinking about steaks compared to Canada, which we'll get to, the Yachtsman completely outsells Canada, hands down.
So when they were building the hotels, they were also building it on like a lagoon area. So they decided to put the Friendship boats into place. The only problem is that the boats would have needed maintenance. And the only place to kind of store the boats and do maintenance on them was in between China and the outpost. So Disney came up with this idea to kind of change the International Gateway, give it 2 bridges, one where a bridge would actually be tall enough to let the Friendship boats go under it and be stored in the dock in between China and the outpost.
Yeah, it definitely gives some cool kind of background. It's not just an entrance. It is just an entrance, but kind of the backstory of it,
like the purpose behind it.
Yeah, is definitely neat, and especially now that it was kind of not nothing, but I think with the Skyliner now going in, and so now you're going to get foot traffic potentially from Caribbean Beach, from Pop Century Art and Animation, Disney's Hollywood Studios. Rather than taking a bus to go to Epcot, you can take the Skyliner now. And then, of course, all of the other hotels kind of around, like the Yachtsman, the Yacht and Beach Resort.
Yeah.
Even those to access other parks, like for now Pop Century to access Hollywood Studios. I can't wait to see what this does to the transportation, I guess, overall for Disney World, and even more kind of this, cornerstone of this area, which will be really interesting to see.
I think they'll have to widen the International Gateway if it gets as busy as we think it will.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I'm surprised they didn't just with the Skyway by itself already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So to move from International Gateway kind of across the pond, as they would say, because you do have to cross
that wasn't funny.
a river. But it does symbolize that.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I think they built the bridge, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah, I get it. It's like," but that's not the purpose. But yeah, sure, that's what it symbolizes.
For today's podcast, we are crossing the pond over to the UK Pavilion. So the United Kingdom Pavilion, or the UK Pavilion, as we'll mostly say from here on out.
Probably not, but yeah.
Is definitely a busy destination. It's a go-to destination in the country. Some of the other countries you might skip if you're not interested, but most of all, you could agree on the UK is definitely something that we have to go see when we're there. A seamless blend of architecture takes you from the streets of London to an English cottage. Cobblestone streets, a quaint pub, the scent of fish and chips in the air combine to make an authentic trip across the pond. You'd like that.
It's growing on me.
I know. The Regal Hampton Courtyard Palace is represented, as well as buildings reflecting the Tudor and Victorian influence that the United Kingdom is noted for. No detail is missed here. There are soot-stained chimneys, a wonderful gazebo kind of hidden in the back there, around beautiful gardens, and perhaps the most photographed item in World Showcase is the replicas of the UK phone booths. And if you haven't gotten a picture of one of them, you must. They used to actually have phones in them, like payphones, and I used to have the number, and then you would call the payphone and somebody pick up. And anyway,
okay, wow, that's an interesting story.
You never did that? Like got the number from the payphone and then called the payphone to kind of prank somebody who was on the payphone?
No.
Okay, may have just been a me and my friends thing.
And by friends, he means himself.
Yeah, it was lonely in high school. But anyway, so tucked in the back of the United Kingdom Pavilion is the perfect spot to take a quiet break. And it is quiet because it's easily missed in the UK Pavilion because it's so vast. There's a lovely English garden, topiaries, and Tigger's Maze. You may find also the lovable Winnie the Pooh and the perfectly proper Mary Poppins making an appearance there.
And Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, and Alice in
You didn't
Wonderland.
have Alice in
as well.
Wonderland,
No,
Ryan.
I did not. I'm sorry.
Why not?
My research is slacking. So to go to kind of, again, attractions and entertainment, and I say attractions because there's actually no attraction in the United Kingdom, but there is some entertainment here. So the World Showcase players are an improvisation group who engage visitors in their hilarious skits. Also, an acoustical group, Quickstep, plays every Wednesday through Sunday. This 4-person group plays the fiddle, flute, Highland bagpipes, and an Irish frame drum, and more. It's actually really, really cool. So also then when you visit the pub, there's also kind of a sing-along piano player there to get more kind of, entertainment if you're looking for it there. And then kind of the at least the highlight to me here is the band British Revolution that performs every day, 30-minute sets. They play iconic sounds from bands like Led Zeppelin, Queen, The Who, The Rolling Stones, and so much more. You're definitely going to want to check that out, most certainly. So from the entertainment to move on to what kind of shops they have. And it's treasures from various regions kind of throughout the UK that's represented here. So the first shop, the Toy Soldier, is a medieval castle playset can be had here. Swords and shields, UK-themed children's books and movies also. This is also the stop for the Kids Cot Fun Stop, so you can make sure to check that out. And yes, we have both asked Mom in the shop tons of times if we could have a sword, and she said no every time.
You just need a sword.
But we still love you.
We're not bitter.
We're not bitter at all, but we're going to buy swords next time.
With your money.
Yeah, with your money, just to be, to prepare yourself and to start saving up. Also, the Crown and Crest is a place where you can find your beer stein at, glass or mug, with the crest of your favorite UK country. They also offer Rose and Crown t-shirts and hats, along with great selections of Beatles merchandise, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So also kind of here is an array of more swords, daggers, and knives that are on display in the room of the family crest. In this section, you can also shop for your family crest and have it on a ring or a plaque kind of embroidered in it, which is pretty cool too. So to move on from swords, to go to fancy goods and lords and ladies, here they offer perfume, cologne, jewelry, and body care. There's a lot of shops here. Also another one is the Queen's Table. Here is basically just fine china made in Ireland, and also carries native music and books from Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. Also, the Sportsman Shop has anything rugby and soccer, including clothing, balls, hats, and books. And then the last shop here is the Tea Caddy, kind of the one that sticks out kind of the most if you're looking at the pavilion, because it sticks out the most because it's a a small little cottage. But this is for all tea lovers. It has a large selection of bagged and loose teas, teapots, biscuits, and candy. Definitely a must go into. And it's kind of weird here because there's a lot of names for the shops, but all of the shops, at least, like if you go into the cottage for the tea caddy in the tea shop, all of the shops kind of are connected and go back. So like the tea caddy, I think is then connected to like the queen's table. So on the inside, but then if you're looking kind of outside, they're all each individually have their own kind of marquee shop sign.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah. You walk through a door frame and you're in the next shop and you don't even realize that you entered the next shop. You think that you just kind of went into a different room.
Right. And that they're all connected. So, and that's a cool thing, I guess. And they do that really throughout the entire World Showcase, where each shop kind of has its own entrance, its own quote front entrance and marquee, but inside they're all connected. Next thing you know, they're
right. Well, I think the
in
idea
the back of the store.
I think the idea is that like once you start shopping, Disney doesn't want you to leave a building, go into another one. They want you to just to see it all and be like, oh, what's down there? Oh, what's down there? And kind of just keep on shopping, not really interrupting your mind, just so you can like buy stuff.
Yeah, and then if you connect the shop to connect the shop to connect the shop, next thing you know, you're at the very, very back of the pavilion, not even knowing it, and then you have to walk to the front of the pavilion because you need to carry on throughout World Showcase, right? And you're like, oh, well, I want to buy that now. It's smart.
It's psychological.
Making me buy stuff, Disney. Why do you do it? You make it limited edition and I'll buy it. So from shopping on to dining, the Yorkshire Country Fish Shop. Here you can enjoy your meal at a table overlooking World Showcase Lagoon. And if you'd like, you can get a yard of ale at this beverage stand located outside the Rose and Crown as a perfect combination to your snack. And the fish and chips here are very, very good. And actually, kind of a tip, it's actually a little bit cheaper if you get your fish and chips here versus if you get your fish and chips kind of at the Rose and Crown, because then now you're sitting down and you have kind of now you're tipping and that experience and your sodas cost and all that. So just kind of a little tip. So then also you can also dine at like I said, the Rose and Crown dining room, which is traditional pub fare where you can feast on specialties such as cottage pie, fish and chips, and bangers and mash. Here they also have a variety of beers and ales that are also offered in this charming little pub. It very much looks like a pub, from the inside, from the UK. Having visited London, it looks very similar to what you would find there.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
You made the comment that it's more expensive to go to the Rose and Crown dining room, but you're going there and you're paying for like the atmosphere. You're paying for the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want the experience, definitely go there. If you want your fish and chips, and then maybe get a beer afterwards, you can do that just in Rose and Crown and not necessarily eat.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, moving on to our final stop. It's been a trip around the world.
Yes, it has.
Our final stop brings us to the neighbor in the north. It's the Canada Pavilion.
Winterfell? Oh, no. Sorry. Wrong podcast.
Whoa. The first thing you'll notice is the Victorian-style Hôtel du Canada. This is the centerpiece of the pavilion, and it was inspired by Château-Laurier, a historic hotel found in Ottawa. The building is designed to look 6 stories tall when, in fact, it is only 3. So another forced perspective that Disney uses to trick our mind.
Very, very common.
This pavilion features the entire country's landscaping into just one setting. You have the colorful gardens reminiscent of the Bouchier Gardens found in Victoria, British Columbia, as well as the Canadian Rockies that feature a waterfall that is 30 feet tall.
Yeah, absolutely a must-see for the pavilion. And I'll just let you finish the country before I start talking about it. Go ahead.
Up front, there's also a totem pole that kind of displays the snowshoes and kayaks that are very common in Canada because you can ski and you can also kayak. It's a little bit of everything. Moving on to the attractions, they have a movie that is O Canada, which shares the same name as the national anthem of Canada. Head down to the Maple Leaf Mine for a 360-degree Circle Vision Theater that shows the film O Canada, hosted by Martin Short. This film takes you through the wonders of Canada, ending with the vocals from Canadian Idol winner Eva Anvela. Sure.
Sounds good.
That sounds great. Singing Canada, Your Lifetime Journey. Footage contains Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Niagara Falls, combined with photos that were given to the pavilion from the Canada Tourism Commission. So it's a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen, Reflections of China in a while, and I will once the Seamless 360 comes out. But just the kind of throwback to the original 360 film, this is a great representation of what it can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see all of Canada, but then Martin Short actually presents it in a very comedic way, and it makes it enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I will say I don't like him in Santa Claus 3, but he does a good job. He redeems himself a little bit here. I don't know if that really relates, but it does in my head.
But okay.
But I'll take it.
Well, moving on to the shopping, there are 3 stores. Well, 2 stores and then a cart. You have the Northwest Mercantile Store, which is kind of like the main store. Here you can find ornaments that represents different seasons. You can get fragrances and perfumes, athletic wear, ice wines, body care items, hockey gear, and Christmas ornaments. So a little bit of like what Canada actually has to present.
Yeah, a little sign that says sorry on it. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Then you go to the trading post, and this is more of the tourism shop, the tourist shop, where you can find all types of maple products like syrup, candies, teas, coffees. You can find the native jewelry, stuffed animal, books, totem poles, and skunk skin hats. So that's fun.
It's a Canadian thing, I
guess. There's also a wood cart kind of along the pathway where you can get illumination CDs, personalized leather, Canadian flags, T-shirts, pins, and mugs. It's a pretty cool shop.
I can make you a personalized letter if you want.
Okay. You can write it all for me.
I can write it up for you
Can
right
you
now.
write it on leather?
No.
Well, then I don't want that.
I don't have the technology.
Pretty cool shop. I like going there because I like getting the Aero bars because we do not carry.
Very, very, very good. And actually, I have found them in the UK pavilion also, but, Canada, kind of our closer neighbor than UK, they do sell them there, which is pretty cool.
They're delicious chocolate bars. If you have one, please go get yourself an Aero bar.
Go try one.
It's just so airy, and
you won't be disappointed. If you're disappointed, the Mouse Bros did not tell you.
I don't want to say it's better than Hershey chocolate, but it's good. Yeah. And like maybe I think that because like we don't have it like unlike
or anything
Hershey
like it really.
Right, unlike Hershey chocolate where you can get it all the time. Like we don't get Aero bars a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking too much about Aero bars.
Too much about chocolate.
Yeah, it's fine. Moving on to the entertainment. There is one stage kind of to the left of the pavilion if you're looking right at it. And it used to host the Off Kilter band, which was a Celtic rock band. And they lasted from 1997 to 2014. It was like kind of almost like what made live entertainment for Disney parks. Like they would always play, and you could hear them throughout the entire park. And you knew exactly what it was when you heard them. And there was always a crowd.
Yeah. Very loud and kind of has, it's not the same feel, but the same... I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like the British Revolution show. Like
absolutely.
That kind of good classic music.
Yeah.
Like this is the same thing here.
Yeah. Currently, they have 6 bands. It is the Alberta Bound, Raffi, Bodocton, Surart, and the Canadian Voyagers and Blueberry Grass Band. All kind of have different feels, different instruments, but they all kind of play the... some traditional Canadian music to kind of pop culture songs that...
Yeah. A lot of Justin Bieber.
All Justin Bieber. One's just a Justin Bieber cover group. Justin Bieber himself actually comes and performs.
We are totally kidding.
He does not.
We are totally kidding.
They're always good shows. It's not a show that you rush to go see.
No, but if you're walking by the country and they're playing, you might stop for 5 minutes.
Second,
or
maybe
until the
sit
song
down,
ends.
but you're not gonna watch the whole show.
No, we never did.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, moving on to dining, it is only one restaurant and is Le Cellier Steakhouse. It's designed after a wine cellar. You can get seafood and steak, of course, because it's a steakhouse. They also serve Canadian wine and beer. It is located in the main building of Hotel du Canada. The only problem with this is that it is a premier dining, so that means that it costs 2 meals if you were on the plan. If you're not on the plan, it means a lot of money. And for the price, Ryan kind of mentioned earlier, if you're looking for a good steak, I wouldn't go to Le Cellier. I'd go to
it's
the
definitely
Yachtsman.
it's definitely overrated.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Well, it's not Disney owned. It is, I don't know, owned,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
owned by a Canada company
Yes.
or Canadian company.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't have the Disney-esque feel. So if you're looking for a steakhouse, this might not be the place to go.
Go check out Yachtsman. You
Yeah.
said it. This will just be the Yachtsman podcast from now on. I'm joking.
It is a small space also, which means that there's a lot of limited seating. So make sure that you get this reservation 180 days out if this is something that you really want to do.
Yeah, and I wanted to say earlier about, kind of the Canada Pavilion, that the kind of the waterfall area of it as you're going into the attraction is this kind of whole hidden bridge area that you can go to. Like if you go around kind of to the entrance of Le Cellier and keep going back, which it might look like you can't go back, but you can, because it leads all the way to the entrance of O Canada. And that little walkway right there is absolutely awesome. Probably one of my favorite things at World Showcase.
Yeah, absolutely. You can
just
actually
to explore it.
If you take that pathway, you can actually see the 8th wonder of the world, the backside of water. It's a Jungle Cruise joke.
Well, with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, as it helps us improve the show. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.